Hey guys, SK here, back with another Clash Royale video, and today we're going to be continuing the fun Expo variants type videos, and we're going to be playing this Executioner Tornado Expo deck, or I guess you could call it Exe-Bow. We do have the Executioner in here, which was recently buffed in the balance changes to get more of axe range on its throw. We do also have more heavy duty type decks, or type cards in the deck, with the Valkyrie, Executioner, Goblins, and Ice Spirit to round it off. We also have the Rocket, and we're going to be getting right into the Grand Challenge. I'm currently already at 8-0, and I'm hoping I can complete it. So my opponent gives the WoW, I guess I'll just give it back. And Royal Hogs come down, so I think I'm going to go Goblins on the left, and Tornado the two on the right to my King Tower. The reason I did that was because the Ice Spirit already kind of crippled the ones on the left, so as you can see, Goblins fully countered them. So that was just kind of nice, and we do already get an activated king to start out. We also get a really nice free rocket, and I'm glad it's not going to be Royal Recruits. It is looking like it's going to be Royal Hogs Earthquake, which usually is not something you'd want to see with Expo, of course. But I do have certainly some nice counters. I have the Valk Executioner. He goes for an Earthquake cycle, fair enough. I'm not really going to Expo. I could have maybe gone Expo and Valk at the bridge, but that's a bit aggressive, and I don't really know how to play this deck that well, but I definitely think I should play pretty passively to start out. So just going to go with an Exe in the back, kind of clog the lane up. He's already back to a queen, even though I literally just rocketed the other one. But this should force out the ability, because yeah, Executioner would take it out otherwise. And I think, okay, he doesn't get a swing, unfortunately. He does go for split pigs. Gonna go Valk on the right side, and then I think I have to log as well. But that does still do a pretty solid job, because I had to make sure I took out the Archer Queen there. And Goblins probably aren't going to get responded to, and I think I'll just Expo at 6 here, because he just uses pigs, he just uses queen. Gonna have to go cannon here if he wants to, and he does. But he should be pretty low in elixir as well, because he did just go for that Royal Hogs push. And yeah, looks like he just doesn't have enough elixir. Looks like he was saving up for the Royal Hogs, and simply couldn't afford them, so that's going to be amazing for us. Valkyrie, Ice Spirit should clean up pretty much everything. Only one Royal Hog passes, and the King Tower helping out will kind of result in that being very effectively defended. My opponent's kind of upset. Just going to give him the Valkyrie emoji, because that was really clutch. I could do a little trick here by tornadoing the Queen into my Valk, but yeah, he does pop the ability anyways, so we don't actually really need to do anything about that. Queen Executioner will simply take it out, and it would also kind of clog the lane up for any Royal Hogs he wants to try and throw. So I guess I'll talk a little about this deck that I made. I'm not sure if it's been played before, but if you recognize, it's actually the Viper deck. Viper is an extremely good pro. He has a YouTube channel with more subscribers than me, so you guys have probably heard of him. But he plays this Executioner Tornado Hog Rider deck, and I maybe could have logged there, but I felt like it was a bit of an overspend, so I didn't really want to. And I'm just going to rocket, because I have a surviving defensive Expo. I feel totally fine, and I definitely think I can defend, especially now that I have Valk and Login Cycle. I can perfectly defend these Royal Hogs for no damage, even if the Expo wasn't really helping out. That probably would have still fully defended. Now I can Expo with confidence as well, since he did just waste his Earthquake and I have a Valk counter pushing. But yeah, about this deck, so it's kind of hard. I would say it's definitely a challenge, and I do kind of enjoy playing these off-meta type Expo variants, because I have mentioned before when I made my own Expo deck and called it another new Expo deck, that video did pretty well. That was the Mega Minion Rocket Cannon deck. I do like to kind of challenge myself and make fun little Expo variants, or just even not very optimal or viable ones. Like this one I definitely don't think is very viable. There are two main components of a normal Expo deck. By the way, I only need a rocket and a log to finish this off, or I think maybe a rocket, log, and tornado. But that's why I'm not throwing a rocket just yet, because I'm pretty sure it wouldn't do enough. Now I just defended really well though, and I have an Executioner counter pushing, so all I have to do is get back to my tornado and that'll be game. That's going to be a real nice first win. But yeah, I feel like this deck is going to be pretty hard to play again, and as I was saying, the two main components of an Expo deck, of a viable Expo deck, I would say, are one, it has a building, a defensive building. With Throughput Expo Cycle, you see the Tesla. With the new meta Expo Cannon Queen Bow deck, you do see the Cannon in there. So building is always optimal. Then the second one is a nice assortment or core of cheap cycle cards, robust defensive cards. And so with 3.0 you see the Ice Spirit, Skeletons, Knight Archers. With Queen Bow Cannon you also have Skeletons, and Fire Spirit in there, so you have very fast cycle, so you can optimally get around to whatever you need. Found next match as well, but where I'm basically going with that is that we don't have either of those components in this deck, which is why I think it's going to be a pretty hard deck to play overall. You do see a bomber, which is interesting, just going to split goblins, I guess. But yeah, we don't have a building, which is really going to be hard. We do have the tornado, but it's not going to be as optimal, I'd say. And let's actually activate King off this miner. Even though the bomber is unfortunately going to get some damage, I think the activated King is definitely worth it. And yeah, it is going to be Lava Hound, so I'm tempted to Expo, but since I only really have one air defense in this deck with the Executioner, I don't just want to Expo. He'll probably ignore the Expo and just try and tower trade. Don't really want to tower trade. I'd rather get a nice defense, especially because the Valk is still going to force something out. He is laughing. That's just going to be a free rocket on my end. Valk also gets a hit on the tower, so Executioner played in the back lines up perfectly, and it will just do a great job at defending against this. And now my opponent is really mad, it looks like. And look at that, really satisfying axe. Executioner doesn't take any damage. And I will just Expo with it, I think, because that would be pretty nice. Let's see what he has to respond. He just wasted his balloon, so yeah, he doesn't actually have anything good in cycle. He goes for a late Inferno Dragon, which is interesting. I'm actually just going to let this go, I think, because that was quite a big commitment by him. And okay, he goes for a miner as well. I'm going to go Valk on the bomber, then Goblins for the miner. And notice how my Goblins placement retargeted the miner as well. And iDrag will get distracted by the Goblins. I can also Ice Spirit if I need to mitigate some damage. So just like that, we're in a really nice damage lead. We are down what looks to be about 6.5 elixir, but I'm not actually concerned about it at all because, again, Executioner will perfectly defend. He just wasted his miner, so he can't snipe my Executioner either. And I have a rocket again. I also have Tornado, so if he has like minions or anything, or skeleton dragons, I will literally just tornado them in. I don't really care. So yeah, there's the balloon again. So he does a pretty good job of spacing it out so that my Exe doesn't splash it, but as you can see, I did a nice rocket angle to push the balloon over to the side so that the King Tower helped out, and that's why the King Tower activation from before is really nice. My opponent's giving the Prince Rainbow emote, so he could be inferring something there possibly, but I don't really care. I'm going to get a nice tornado in here on the lava and iDragon. Also going to get an Ice Spirit to freeze the Inferno Dragon as well. So that's going to be really nice. Look at that perfect defense to take out the Inferno Dragon, keep my Executioner alive. Even with the arrows coming down, it still survives because Executioner has a ton of HP as well. Yeah, I don't really care about this either. I'm just going to catch the miner with Goblins, rocket the balloon, and everything will be fully defended. I can even just tornado, not even take any death damage. So my opponent's like spamming these emotes. Looks like he's really salty about losing. I'm just going to BM him back, honestly, because, I mean, I'm playing my own off-meta Expo deck. And if he wants to be mad that he lost, I guess he can. I mean, I probably have a decent matchup here, honestly, considering I do have the Exe, NATO, and Rocket. Fireball probably wouldn't be as good in a deck like this because I wasn't able to defend that LavaLoon push without the Rocket, so it was really helpful. But I'm just going to BM him a little bit because he's spamming emotes too. Really, really nice win, though, against two very interesting matchups. That was like Lava Cycle, I think, with the Bomber in there. I haven't seen that in quite a long time, actually. I think that was meta back in the Goblin Drill meta, like last year. But yeah, Skeletons in there, just very fast cycle. Definitely would hard counter through Expo Cycle, so very glad about that. Would probably have a good matchup against Queen Bow Cannon as well, because I do have the Cannon and Rocket in that deck. But anyways, into next match, we are currently at 10-0, so really, really great start so far. I'm just going to go Ice Spirit to start out. He goes for a miner, I'll just catch it. Most miners at the start are just going to be in that safe spot, because if the opponent has Tornado, you can't really risk your miner getting activated so early on, so my opponent there just does go with the safe spot placement, and I'll just log the Dark Goblin. Not sure what this is going to be. Skeleton King, I think I'm going to Expo because I just used my Valk, which would be my main Skeleton King counter. And he is unfortunately going to have the cannon card, so it's going to be a really hard matchup, it looks like. Probably going to be miner, or probably going to be mortar miner. Exe should hopefully deal with all this. Doesn't actually get the most optimal axe angle there. Does miss some skeletons at the start, but I think, yeah, we defended that just fine. Not really necessary on that Ice Spirit, but I just wanted to be safe. But yeah, this is going to be hard because it looks like it's going to be miner mortar, and this is definitely going to be a hard counter since I don't even have 3.0, so I can't exactly outcycle him that easily, and I don't have Fireball, so Rocket's going to be really useless. Yeah, he does go for a mortar. I'm just going to Rocket, I guess. I mean, don't really have a better play. Now I'm scared of him, like, punishing me, though. Yeah, there it is, Minion, Horde, miner. So I'm going to Tornado, and then I guess I have to go for a Valk. Unfortunately, my Ice Spirit isn't in cycle, so that's going to be really bad. I'm back to it now, and it will get a really nice freeze, but he goes for a very nice Dark Goblin as well. pretty good awareness on his end of my elixir, so he does get about 600 more damage from that, and I'm going to be down about 1,000 already. So I mean, maybe the rocket on tower was a misplay, but what else was I supposed to do? Anything else I did literally would have just fed the mortar value. Couldn't go in, couldn't cycle anything in the back because he would just fireball it, or mortar would just take it out. So that was just kind of silly. But yeah, this is why it's a hard matchup, and definitely a hard counter even for normal Xbow decks, not my special one, because they can just spam defensive mortars and then go for miners on tower. But I'm going to go for a Valk and or Expo and Valk in front to try and predict the cannon card. I actually did get the prediction, but unfortunately I did misplace my Expo, so that's kind of on me. But still, cannon cart just a hard counter in general, really annoying. Not sure if anything would have even happened if I didn't mess that up, but just gonna go for a tornado here to line the miner up with the Skeleton King. Log as well, and he does go for arrows, so unfortunately the mortar is going to be on my tower. I think I have to go for like a last ditch Expo. Gonna try and wait till I get 10 elixir so I can play a Valk in front as well for the cannon cart. But yeah, he just kind of goes for defensive mortars, and that's basically his game plan. I can respect it, but it's still kind of annoying because it is just a hard counter. But basically just has to spam defensive mortars, and then I literally can't do anything, and the miner as well will be annoying. But that was a pretty satisfying Ice Spirit, kind of jumping in front of everything, or jumping really far to splash the cannon cart too. Ice Spirit tornado value there was pretty interesting, but yeah, we did get punished. Gonna be a really hard counter, unfortunately for us, so not much I could have done there. Not really too upset about losing that. Even if I had 3.0, I would have lost that because he had cannon cart and arrows for my archers, but we just kind of have to move on from a counter like that and keep it going. I would definitely like to get this 12 win, so yeah, found next match against AG. Okay, I actually do know this guy. Yeah, he has a good game, so it looks like he's going to try and tie us, so I think I'll just give him the tie. So I'll give the good game back, so I'm going to draw, guys, so I'll just cut the match and be right back after it's done. Alright guys, so we are back after the draw, and yeah, if you guys are curious, basically sometimes if people are friends or know each other, they do tie each other in games. It is allowed in Grand Challenges and Ladder, although I don't think it's allowed in global tournaments, so that's just why I drew him. I know him, and he was actually a member of my channel before, so I'm pretty grateful about that. It is also pretty active in my Discord server, so we just drew, we didn't play anything, and just going to continue the GC. Going to activate King off this E-Spirit, and E-Spirit Skeletons already looks like it's going to be some kind of fast cycle deck with the log as well. Could possibly be 3.0 Xbow Cycle. Okay, Mortar comes down. I'm going to just snipe it with my Executioner. I think hopefully it, yeah, nice little XZ placement there. I could actually Tornado the Firecracker and take it out as well, but I think, yeah, that does defend perfectly, and I can activate King off this Firecracker. But I'm actually just going to choose to Expo instead, because activated King won't really do anything against a Mortar deck, I feel like, and I would rather kind of apply some pressure, find out more about his deck. So we do see Valkyrie and Rocket, which is pretty nice because he had to waste a Valkyrie, so that was just a really optimal trade, especially because the damage the Firecracker got onto my Expo didn't actually mean anything since he still rocketed it. So we just kind of defended the Firecracker well, and were able to get a +4 trade out of that Valk Rocket. So that was just kind of nice, but looks like it's going to be Mortar Cycle with the Firecracker, so if I had to guess, I think he might have like Earthquake or something in here, which would really suck. Actually, well, I don't know why I'm saying that. He literally just showed Rocket, but normally there is a Mortar Firecracker cycle deck that has Earthquake, but obviously my opponent has Rocket here. Just gonna Executioner on this Mortar again, and looks like I did slightly mess up the placement, so not a super expert on geometry by any means, but we should still be able to fully counter this Mortar. And it looks like it's just going to be a Mortar Rocket matchup, so I think this isn't going to be that easy, honestly, because he does have Rocket and he has a faster cycle than us. I don't have my 2 cycle cards with the Ice Spirit Skeletons. I actually have Goblins in here. I don't have a building either, so I don't actually have a great response to the Mortar, where normally if I had Cannon or Tesla, that would be really nice. So I'm probably going to have to Executioner most of these Mortars. Valkyrie won't really do it either, because if Valk walks up, Mortar will be targeted onto my tower, and I wouldn't say that counts as countering it. But I'm just going to leak again here, because again, I don't want to waste my Executioner, don't want to waste my Valk, and I obviously can't Rocket nothing. Okay, I'm just going to Rocket his tower. He does go for a defensive Mortar, and I think I might try and Expo. If he Rockets me, I'll definitely Valk to tank for the Mortar, and then Expo, and he does, so let's go for Valk. High enough so the Mortar targets it first, then Expo right away. Apply some pressure because I can't really let him just rocket me. I know I rocketed him, but for me it's, I would say, easier because he wants to rocket my Expo. I don't really have to rocket his Mortar. That was actually a really nice tornado on his end to line up the Mortar. with my Xbow as well. I could have gone for a really nice tornado there to take the Valk into the tower's range with the Executioner, but I'm not really an Exe expert by any means, but it is really nice to be able to outplay, I feel like, with the card. Let's Xbow again. Probably going to force a Rocket out. Going to go for a low Executioner as well, just to make sure that the Mortar targets the Executioner and gets taken out, and naturally Firecracker also gets taken out, so that's really nice. I'm not going to let the E-Spirit connect either, and Executioner will still force a respawn, so that's going to be pretty nice as well. Yeah, Valk gets forced out, so let's just log, and I think cycle back to an Xbow. I don't really want to just rocket him, because he'll just rocket me back, and if I don't have an easy Xbow pressure push going, I won't really be able to take it out that easily, and unfortunately the Mortar is on my tower, so I take one unnecessary hit. Just kind of didn't play my Executioner early enough, but Ice Spirit just to make sure it doesn't get another hit on my tower. And Firecracker is coming in, so I'm going to have to try and be careful. I think I might try and activate King off of it now, if possible, even though again it doesn't really do anything. Going to Expo as well, really nice Expo, because if I didn't do that, the Mortar would have actually retargeted onto my tower, so that was a well-played tornado on my opponent's end, but I was aware of his cycle and knew he might go for a play like that. So I just decided to. They're going to tornadoes maybe predict skeletons, and he does go for a Mortar instead, but we are actually getting log plus tornado chip damage, which is really nice. Exe should get a hit on this Mortar too, but we don't unfortunately get a hit. Going to Expo as well, and he goes for a log cycle, so getting goblins to pull this in. He kind of just wasted his goblins or his log and his E-Spirit, because I did have an Expo alive. Going to tornado this all together. Ice Spirit as well, just keep stalling out this Mortar. And I'm going to Expo again. Wow, he's going for a rocket. Really aggressive, considering I actually still have a surviving Expo. And he goes for a defensive Mortar to tank, but yeah, it's kind of too far out, so I do get a small Expo connection. Going to rocket as well, and log, and now we are just up by a rocket plus a nice Expo connection. So even though he does have a faster cycle, he can definitely rocket cycle me faster than I can rocket cycle him. I'm capitalizing on the fact that he needs to rocket my Expos in order to really get much value. So that's just going to be really useful. Going to rocket again, and he has no way of winning here, because if he rockets me, he just won't really defend my Expo in time. Plus my log tornado will get really nice value on his tower. So yeah, we won. We were up about a rocket, so that advantage was kind of just through my Expo connection. So I feel like I played that really well. My opponent's again upset, so I'm just going to BM him back. I don't always like to BM people, but if people are going to be salty about losing when it's not even like a bad matchup for them, like this was definitely not my hard counter or anything. I mean, he had a faster cycle than me. He did have a rocket for my Expo. I just kind of played it pretty well, I'd say. Then I'm just going to give the emotes back, I guess. But next match against Angel. Let's see what he's going to be playing. Going to give him the good luck. Cycle Ice Spirit at the bridge to start out. Pretty safe starting play again. And we don't see anything, actually. He's just going to split my goblins next. Let's find out if this is going to elicit a response from him. Goes for the Battle Ram, so I'll just Valkyrie, and then I can log to reset the Battle Ram's charge if I need to, so I'll go for that now. Okay, he actually goes for the Magic Archer. Going to Tornado the Magic Archer in as well. Unfortunately, it doesn't actually work out, so that was actually, wow, like the worst possible interaction for me possible. Oh my god, the Ice Spirit Goblins was also probably one of the worst interaction I've ever done, and Magic Archer gets so many hits on my tower. I think I already lost, guys. This is kind of embarrassing, but I'm not going to cut it from the video or anything, because I do kind of make it clear that I'm totally fine to show you guys my losses. I've done that many times before. Actually pretty well played Battle Ram out of my opponent's end, because I don't actually have anything good in Cycle. Going to have to log, cycle back to my Executioner. And I do defend that, but I mean, we're literally at 570 damage. So I think the main thing that went wrong there was really just that Magic Archer. Yeah, he does go for a Magic Archer. Pretty well played on his end, but I can't really do anything about it. I mean, I don't have a Fireball in this deck, so yeah, pretty unfortunate to take such an early deficit, but I actually don't think it's going to be my matchup, because he does have, yeah, it's P.E.K.K.A Bridgespam, and again, like I was saying, they're main components of an Expo deck. I don't have either of those components. I don't actually have a building other than the Expo to tank for the Battle Rams, so I don't actually have a response to the Battle Ram that's that good. I mean, I can Goblins, I can Ice Spirit plus Valk or something, but don't actually have a great counter like a building, like a cannon or Tesla. And I also, anytime I do counter the Battle Ram with something like a Valkyrie like I did, he does just get a free Magic Archer snipe on me, and I can't actually take it out because I have Rocket, not Fireball. So this is going to be, I would say, not really my matchup. I mean, I definitely shouldn't have lost this early on. That was totally my bad. Kind of flubbed on that micro defense there, but still, I don't think this would have been that easy, even if it didn't go south that early on. But just going to try and get an Expo connection here, I guess. Tornado everything back. Do actually miss the Royal Ghost as well, but yeah, I mean, even if I got that off, like, he can just Fireball zap me out. It does actually predict my next Expo for some reason, even though I don't actually even have it in Cycle, but it's going to Valk and then Expo again. Hopefully he doesn't have enough for a P.E.K.K.A in time. Okay, I think he will because he just went for the E-Wiz. I'm going to try and Rocket here, I think. It's actually kind of a funny play to do, but I'm going to try and Goblins as well just to take the P.E.K.K.A. Targeting in time, log the Magic Archer as well. And, okay, Bandit does come down to stall, but yeah, he has all this kind of spam. And I don't have great defenses. Like, Executioner doesn't really get any value in this matchup, unfortunately, so it's one of the few matchups that didn't really work out for me. I'm just going to give him a good game, though. I mean, he played well, he punished me early on, and kind of just props to him. At the same time, it is unfortunate to lose so early on. Would have liked to put up a fight. I think activating King off the Bandit or Royal Ghost would have been absolutely huge, and then maybe just playing defensively for most of the game, and Rocket Cycling and Triple would have been the move, but let's look for the next match. 11-2, found next match against Mar, so it is kind of unfortunate that we have an early 2 losses. I was 8-0 to start this out, but both of them I would say weren't really good matches, especially the Mortar one, so we'll see how it goes. Goblins will catch the Miner, and gonna Expo, I guess. Why not? Just be a bit aggressive, just to test the water, see what he has. Goes for a Bomb Tower plus Bar Barrel. Wow, so actually, this is going to be Balloon Cycle, I think, which is not actually a matchup that I am familiar with. He gives a good game, for some reason. Okay, Mar, actually, I'm friends with someone called Maru, who is a Japanese Balloon Cycle player who has, like, a top 100 finish with the deck, I think. I wonder if this is going to be his mini account or something, because it is Mar, but yeah. I really think my opponent wants me to Rocket that, and I'm going to learn from my mistake in the Mortar match, and I'm not actually going to Rocket. Remember when he went defensive Mortar and I Rocketed it, and I just lost for that? I'm going to learn from that and not Rocket here, just because I do actually want to have a fighting chance in this match. He does kind of commit quite a lot with Miner, Bar Barrel, and Balloon. That's his entire elixir bar at the bridge, 10 elixir, so I just was kind of forced to Rocket there. I'm just going to log as well. I think he wasn't really expecting me to have Rocket, maybe, but not sure what he was expecting, I guess. He's giving the wow, so I guess he's surprised. But yeah, this is definitely going to be an interesting match, guys, so strap in. I feel like if we play perfectly, we can win, but again, I don't have a defensive building, except for the Expo. So the balloons will actually be kind of hard to defend unless I Rocket them. He does actually go for a balloon here, so I'm actually going to defensive Expo like I was just talking about, because I don't actually have any other great play. I could activate King by letting it hit my tower, but I don't actually just want to take a balloon hit. So I'm going to NATO, and actually, wow, balloon does not actually do that good against Expo. It survived, Expo survived 2 balloon hits. He gives a thanks, I guess, kind of BMing, because I missed the activation. And yeah, unfortunately, I was forced to overcommit on that balloon there. That was like 9 elixir with the Expo and Tornado, but anyways, I think we're still fine. He goes for a Miner. Yeah, pretty well played, I guess. I can't really Valk on it because I do have to Valk on the Musketeer. If I went Valk to cycle back to my Goblins and he predicted the Goblins with a Bar Barrel, I mean, he might have gotten like 4 Musketeer hits, couldn't afford to take that. Let's just Rocket this. I mean, if I Executioner, it will defend, but he'll probably get death damage. I don't want to take any kind of death damage, so just going to play it pretty passively. And I think we are going to be able to win this one if I just activate my King sometime soon. He does go for an anti-NATO Miner, so I'm able to catch that. We want to activate King off a balloon sometime, and then I think Rocket Cycle as we head into overtime and triple elixir. I think that'll be the move. Okay, now that he went for a bomb tower, okay, again, I'm going to learn from my mistakes. I'm really tempted to Rocket there, but since I don't want to mess up, I just want to play super safe. I'm just going to defensive Expo, I think. And I already have an Executioner alive, so I don't actually think I do need to Tornado this or anything. Yeah, perfect defense. I'm totally comfortable going for a Rocket now, because my Expo's alive, it'll take out the Musketeer, and Executioner is alive as well. So he's playing pretty smart, just cycling stuff in the back, not really allowing me to get value out of my defensive exploit. I'm back to another one here, so just going to go for it. And Goblins should hopefully catch the Miner, and they do. So that's actually going to be a really nice defense. Actually, no damage at all from the Miner. And this time, I'm not going to mess up my activation. I'm going to get it off, and that's going to be amazing for us. So just really nice to have the activated King. Will help out big time against any Miners in the future, and it'll also help out against Balloons in the future as well. So yeah, just gonna Executioner now, gonna Rocket the Balloon, not gonna mess around with anything. He actually does get a really nice Miner to snipe, so hopefully the Executioner does splash it, and it does. Unfortunately though, we are taking death damage. Not really the best Goblins out of my side, because they just kind of died, wasted 2 elixir, but still gonna Executioner, does go for a Balloon, and I can Expo, Tornado, or Rocket. I'm just gonna Rocket, I guess. Let's hit the Miner as well, a really nice Rocket, and that shouldn't get any death damage. I think I Rocketed it early enough, yeah. So we are losing now, but it's about to be triple elixir. I'm gonna strap in with a defensive Expo to set up, and I can definitely chuck at least 2 Rockets if I really want to. And I don't actually think I need to Rocket on this balloon, so I'm just going to catch the miner with my executioner, and I can just tornado it away, I think. So yeah, that's going to be a flawless defense, and I'm not going to rocket yet because I'm actually just going to, well, I'm going to rocket. I was considering defensive Xbowing, but I realized that I'm just going to defensive Xbow after anyway, so might as well. There wouldn't really be a difference. In fact, this way is actually better for me because defensive Xbow being played later means it's alive later. So that's just better. I'm going to pull this balloon over to the other side so that it doesn't get any form of death damage. And just like that, I think we're going to be fine. We just have to defend one more balloon push. Just going to rocket it. I'm pretty sure, yeah, miner's in the back, so perfect catch there. And I'm pretty certain we can cycle back to another rocket here. And he can actually go for a balloon. Well, he can, but my executioner is alive, so it's actually going to be pretty annoying for him. And we're just going to rocket. So he does get a miner on tower. Okay, this is a bit dicey because of the snowball as well, but Activated King was really helpful. And we're going to win with one rocket's difference at the end. So I'd say we played that pretty much perfectly, honestly. I'm pretty proud of it. It was not a super easy matchup considering we didn't actually have a building, but I guess it might technically be my matchup if I play perfectly because I do have the Exe-Bow and Rocket Cycle. So just really nice win though. I'm really happy we were able to win against a really unorthodox meta deck, and that's going to put me at 12 wins. So really happy to get 12 wins with my own kind of off-meta Exe-Bow deck, or I guess it's just the Viper Hog Exe-Bow deck, but with Xbow. But that's definitely off-meta and not viable. And yeah, like, you find matchups like that miner balloon deck, and it's basically all up to you and your mind and how you can strategize playing a deck like this, because there's obviously not going to be any game plan against that deck, because not only is this not a real deck, but miner balloon is kind of dead as well. So that was just kind of all me improvising how to play the matchup. But let's open up the chest here, and not really going to be get anything of too much value, but still going to be pretty nice to get a Grand Challenge chest. 22k gold and lots of cards, another 10k gold from the spare cards as well, so really nice there. And yeah, so again, like I was saying, I do like making my own Expo decks. Hope you guys enjoy watching these kinds of videos as well, where I just kind of have fun and actually have success with these off-meta Expo decks. I have a lot of fun with them and actually beat two really hard matchups for a normal Expo cycle. So that was really interesting and entertaining, and I'm really happy we got a really wide assortment of matchups here and I was able to win. So that's going to be a really nice 12-win GC to end off the video. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed my Exe-Bow construction. Feel free to try it out if you want yourself. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.